Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday, so it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. This is an adventure today because I've made this recipe. This will be the third time, and each time it's come out incredibly different. So cross your fingers. We're gonna make crumpets, mostly because I think the word crumpet is just fun to say. Crumpets are a cousin of English muffins. They're round, they're bubbly, but you don't split them to fill them. You eat them whole. And the ideal way to do it is to, right when they come off the griddle, put a bunch of butter or jelly or whatever you like on them and eat them. If you make them earlier, then you toast them so that they'll be hot. We're gonna go backwards. I'm not actually gonna make the dough and the batter in front of you, but I'm gonna talk about it. But I wanna get these on this is not a griddle, obviously. It's a giant skillet. I've greased it, and I have the rings, and I've also greased the rings. And this is where we're crossing our fingers. The batter is very bubbly, and it's very loose. It's not like a bread dough or something like that. So I need to stir it up a little bit more, and then I'll tell you how I made it while these guys are cooking. And I just want to be sure that it reminds me of when you melt marshmallows for Rice Krispie treats. That's what it reminds me of, that texture. So it's got some bubbles, it's got some lumps, and I want to fill these rings about half, give or take, full. Let's see, and that one was a big blob. Whoop! That's what I mean, it's an adventure. And when I tell you how you make it, you'll see what I mean. What I want them to do is be golden, and then I'm going to flip them and cross my fingers that they come out of the rings so they'll cook on both sides. If you only want to cook it on one side and finish it off in the toaster, that's another way to do it. I thought they were more fun cooked on both sides. Okay, so they're bubbling away. So how did I get to this? It's a real easy batter. It's 2 cups of flour, and a teaspoon of salt. You mix that in a mixing bowl or in a bowl with a spoon. Then you heat a cup of milk. They say till warm. Warm is about 100 to 110 degrees. And if you're not sure, you get your instant read thermometer out and you stick it in there. I put the milk in a glass measure cup, put it in the microwave, and I did it for about half a minute to a minute, and then tested it. So when you have the warm milk, you put your yeast in the warm milk and a little bit of sugar, and that lets the yeast have something to feed on. And you let it sit till it bubbles, about 10 minutes or so. Then you put the milk yeast mixture into the flour mixture and stir it up for about 3 minutes. Then you cover it, plastic wrap, put it in a warm spot in your kitchen and let it rise till it's doubled in bulk, so about 30 minutes to an hour. Then, this is where I read this and I thought, oh, this is just so not going to work. You take that mixture that you've let rise, and then you take a cup of warm water, again, warm like 100, 110, and you mix a half a teaspoon of baking soda in with the water. Then you pour that over the batter and stir it up again. And you're thinking, this is not gonna work. Well, it does. You let that sit for about another 30 minutes till it's bubbly, and then you do the ring business. This is what I've learned about the rings. The first couple times we did it, they stuck terribly. We oiled them, we buttered them, we sprayed them. I don't know if I didn't have them hot enough. As we've made more batches, it has become easier and easier to do, so that may be part of it. The rings they're not like cookie cutters. They are sealed on both sides, so there's not a sharp edges. They come 4 in a box. And then I put out we sell egg rings, and I thought that might be a way to do them as well. You do need something to corral them, because otherwise they just flatten out like a pancake, because I tried one of those too just to see what it will do. And what I'm looking for, when you see a pancake and you see the bubbles come up, that's not what this is doing. What I want it to do is be brown on the bottom, and they're not quite there yet. This process can take about 7 or 8 minutes, and then we're going to try and flip it and flip them over. So it's easy peasy, and depending on how long this one takes. I may flip one before it's done so I can show you. But we made a good number of them, and they're really yummy, and it's a great vehicle to eat jelly. So if you want an excuse to eat awesome jelly, I highly recommend this. I think the best, probably if you were having people over for breakfast or brunch, it would be fun to have all this ready and then just give them to people as you got them off the griddle, because right off the griddle, they're just delish. So let me peek at one of these and see if we're getting anywhere close to what we want. We were using every tool we have to try and flip them to see. I'm going to flip even though it's not quite done, so you can see how it's brown but not quite brown enough. And what I was doing earlier is we were taking a toothpick and going around the rim and seeing if it would release. And several of them came off no sweat, and several of them said, I'm not coming off for love or money. So let's see what this one's going to tell me. It says, oh, hey, I'm coming. And that will cook the other side. So these, I'm just going to let them do their thing. And you can see what happens. I blub out of the ring. That's okay. That little bit cooks too. So it's a very forgiving process. If you want them perfectly round, then after they come off the griddle and they're not quite the shape, go ahead and trim them up. So that's all I can tell you about making crumpets. I thought they were delish. We ate a whole bunch of them. I have friends who really like them with clotted cream and butter and jam and all the sweet things. For my taste, I think they'd be really good also with cheese or garlic butter or something savory. So it could be a fun thing to do with soup. Could be a great thing to do for breakfast. And plus, crumpets is just a great word in general. So that's what I have to tell you about crumpets. These will keep cooking. Can you see it? There's between the yeast and the baking soda, there is a rise involved. So that's a good thing. And I was terribly afraid with this batch that my yeast was not working right. Yeast is a living organism. When you buy it, there is an expiration date on the package. Pay attention to that, because if it's been in your fridge or your pantry and it says it expired in 2022, probably not a good idea to use it. So that's my suggestion on that. So that's what I can tell you about making crumpets. They're delish, they're fun, they're not that hard. It's a very easy yeast dough. Now We're Cooking, for those of you who do not know, is at Paseo in Wyoming. We're open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 4. We'd love to see you come in. We're flipping things around for spring. We're getting new merchandise in all the time. So come shopping. So try some crumpets. I'll post the recipes and some pictures. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.